Hello and welcome back. Uh, Today we're doing like the impression slash review of my most recent watch, which is the Venezianico Arsenale in 37 millimeters. Uh, First, quick wrist shot. As per usual, it's the Omega Seamaster on a green OEM, not OEM, aftermarket rubber this time. Uh, yeah, on to the watch. Um, Quick sort of backstory. I reached out to Venezianico myself last year and asked, hey, this Arsenale watch, I really like it. It's a bit too big for me. Are you going to make it in a smaller size? To which they said, yes, we are. So that was really nice. And I paid full price for this, didn't receive the watch for free or anything like that. And I've been having it now for like two months roughly, and they just actually announced the watch on their website, so now I can do my sort of impressions review video of it. A lot of things to say about this watch, actually, but we're going to start with the dimensions. And it's a 37 millimeter watch. The distance between the lugs is 41 millimeters, but like the actual lug to lug that you can see here, like the how far it extends with the bracelet is, I would say like around 43, 44, maybe 45-ish millimeters. It's an integrated bracelet design with a butterfly deployment clasp. Not my favorite, but I managed to get quite a good fit actually from this. And case back, we do not have an open case back, which I think is preferable when we're talking like, I don't want to call them basic movements, but you know, like ETA, Celita, Miota movements. I think this is preferable. This is quite a nice engraving of a bridge in Venice that I can't remember the name of, but I have been there. It gives more character than just another open case back, and it allows the watch to stay as thin as it is, which is really thin. And I got the pine green, which in reality I would say is more of like a dark turquoise color. So like don't buy this and expect like a very dark green or even lime green type of watch. This is more of like a blue / green type of thing. As you can see, it has quite an interesting texture when reflecting light. And this is like the average, like how it will look in darker environments. It has some lume, it's quite sparingly applied, doesn't shine too brightly, but it's there if you like that kind of thing. I could have gone without it personally, but doesn't bother me either. The bezel has this kind of fluted thing going on, not quite fluted, but there's very tiny sort of hash marks almost, or however you want to call it, around the bezel. And reason I wanted to try this watch and why I bought it is quite frankly because one of my favorite watches ever is the Parmiani Fleurier Tonda, their integrated sports watch. And this is basically the closest thing to that watch. And I was also kind of curious to sort of look into the micro brand space. I haven't really owned any micro brand watches before. I've owned Seikos, Omega Squale, for example, but not a micro brand in that sense. And I have to say, build quality is pretty great. Finishing for this like price point, which is I think it's 850 euros. Roughly the same in dollars. I don't know the conversions in my head. The finishing is really nice for this price point. I compare this to a Tissot PRX or Seiko around this price, and I'd say this is better finished, straight up. And I'm gonna put this on my wrist now for reference. My wrist is 16.5 centimeters, just under that actually, and 6.5 inches. So proportionally, I think this fits great on a wrist such as mine. This is kind of the sweet spot. And like the thinness of the watch allows it to wear very like seamlessly. You don't notice it's on there. It's also quite a light watch. So this will slide under any cuff, work with most outfits, if you're thinking about that. And the sort of standout features for me are the finishing and the bracelet design, actually. That's also a negative, but we'll get into that. But finishing, design, is kind of the main strengths of the watch, and the thinness. Like getting an integrated bracelet watch this thin is super nice. Onto the movement, it's a Myoda 9000, and timekeeping, I haven't been like rigorously checking this to any time graph or anything like that, but just like setting the watch, wearing it a few days, seeing what the deviations are. And I would say this is at least plus minus 10 a day, maybe even better. So quite accurate, not COSC certified or anything like that, but it's around there. The crown is very easy to turn and grip, but it has that sort of graininess that many of the Miyota movements have. That doesn't affect the watch movement performance in any way, but it's there and you should know about it. The crown, while I do like it, seems to be, and I don't know if I can capture this on camera, but it seems to be, to me, in a slightly darker hue than the rest of the watch. This more resembles like titanium to me, which is interesting kind of choice. It's also a signed crown, which is nice to see. So I've been saying mainly good things about the watch. So what is it that I necessarily don't like about it? Well, I like more subdued dials. So you might disagree, but that's how I like them. How it looks right now is great. It's this kind of fume effect. It's not too like shiny or anything like that. But in the light, you get almost this like sparkly effect. And for me, I'm not such a big fan of that. I feel like it cheapens the watch a little bit. For me, again, people have different opinions. This is mine. This is perfect. This is not quite my style. The other thing is that the bracelet has what I would say is quite an aggressive taper. So it almost, to me, feels a bit dainty in the smallest part or the thinnest part of the bracelet. if it would have stayed like around here, that would have been great. But then for me, it gets a bit too narrow here. It feels like a bit dainty almost. I would have had like a bit stronger presence from the bracelet, because the bracelet is actually really nice. I am a big fan of the design they chose for this bracelet here. But yeah, I think I ran out of things to say. If you have any questions about the watch, please write in the comments and I will try to answer them as best as I can. It's been really interesting to try an actual micro brand and just exploring that side of the watch industry. But yeah, I'll talk to you in the next video and we'll see when that be. But for now, over and out. See ya.